To show you from Riverside, California, where Hillary Clinton is expected to take the stage very soon. We are watching to see how Hillary Clinton responds to Donald Trump's latest attacks on her, more specifically on her husband. Donald Trump also has an event tonight. He is in Albuquerque, and while Donald Trump continues his attacks, Hillary Clinton is firing at Trump over his self-touted record as a businessman. She's been referencing his bankruptcies and the fact that he said in the mid-2000s that he sort of hoped the housing market would crash so he could cash in. This is some of what Hillary Clinton has been saying just in the past couple of days.
Trump economics is a recipe for lower wages, fewer jobs, and more debt.
He could bankrupt America like he's bankrupted his companies. I mean, ask yourself, how can anybody lose money running a casino, really?
He actually said he was hoping for the crash, all because he thought he could take advantage of it to make some money for himself.
What little we know of his economic policies would be running up our debt, starting trade wars, letting Wall Street run wild. All of that could cause another crash.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and I together, we're not going to let him bankrupt America.
So you can see Hillary Clinton has been going after Donald Trump quite hard. Back now with our panel, Errol Lewis. What about the nature of these attacks? Saying that he was hoping for a housing downturn so he could cash in. Effective, or when you're dealing with Donald Trump talking about, marriage and sexual allegations, is it taking a knife to a gunfight?
Well, I think of it as maybe a little bit of exaggeration, by the way. Just from the clip that was played, it's not as if he was there hoping for it, but he's, talking the way business people talk. It's like, yeah, there might be an opportunity there. But I think what the Clinton team is doing is showing that he's not one of you. He's not on your side. If you are part of the working class base that has flocked to Donald Trump, they're trying to sow some doubts. They're trying to say, look, the guy is being sued by the Attorney General of New York State for Trump University. The guy is not as successful as he thinks, and this is the real key point, why this, of his many different business dealings that they're focusing on, is to say that he's on the other side of transactions that have hurt people like you. He's not only not on your side, but he's profiting and sort of laughing at you along the way.
Angela, that's exactly what President Obama did to Mitt Romney, in a way, often and early in 2012. Is this the same thing, though? Remember, Democrats will tell you the reason Romney was a ripe target is because he was, shy or embarrassed almost of his wealth. Donald Trump brags about it. He likes making money.
Right, and I think he still comes across as an everyday kind of guy. He doesn't come across like Mitt Romney did, and not that I like Donald Trump, but Mitt Romney seemed really unlikable at the time. I think the one thing that I would also add to this, and I hope that the Hillary folks, the surrogates, and everybody else uses this. I'm sure he wasn't hoping for that 2008 recession if he was hoping for it when he missed that $53 million bond interest payment that bankrupted his fourth casino. So I hope that they use that, because the practical application of it didn't go so well for him either.
Alex?
You have this, just to be a little counterintuitive here, you have this, I think, conventional wisdom emerging that the Democrats are going to try to brand Donald Trump as the new Mitt Romney. It would be a giant improvement in Donald Trump's standing in this election if he were branded as the new Mitt Romney. Romney was in a better position in the polls at this point in 2012. He had much more with voters who didn't necessarily have a firm opinion of him, but were open to him in a way that a lot of independents, suburban women, even some minority voters were more open to Mitt Romney than they are to Donald Trump right now. So I think what you're seeing the Clinton campaign begin to try to do, and it really is still in a fits and starts phase, so you don't want to ascribe too much long-term planning to it, is to try to puncture this notion of Donald Trump as this bold American economic nationalist, as a guy who's always rooting for America, right? That's why this 2006 clip does seem to have some kind of legs to it.
But his statement, the Donald Trump statement today says, yeah, I was just trying to make money. That's what I do. That's what I did. And I did it well. And so far, Kaylee, it has worked in the primaries with Republican voters, has worked among independents. You were talking about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney won independents in 2012 by about 5 points right now. In the latest polling, Donald Trump leads by 13 among independents.
Yeah, that's right, because people understand that Donald Trump is a real successful businessman. They like him. They find him relatable. He's the blue-collar billionaire, as his son calls him, and he's created, by conservative estimates, by CNN estimates, 32,000 jobs compared to Hillary Clinton, who's created precisely 0. So Americans look at him, they see someone who's successful though relatable. Unlike Mitt Romney, who was Mr. 1%, who Barack Obama effectively dubbed the 1%er with the Swiss bank account and the Cayman Islands accounts. This is a different kind of guy. This is someone people resonate with, and it's
Kristen, the question that the Clinton team hasn't answered, I think, fully yet is, why are their attacks going to work when they didn't work in the Republican primaries, when Jeb Bush tried them, when Marco Rubio tried them, when Ted Cruz tried them? Why are they going to work now?
First, I just want to say we don't know exactly where Donald Trump has bank accounts because we haven't seen his taxes, right? So for all we know, he's got Swiss and, you know, every other kind of bank account as well. And when and if we see those taxes, we will know more. Look, I think the issue here is one, I have complete faith in Secretary Clinton that her attacks will be better delivered, sharper, and clearer than those delivered in the primary where, you know, in part having so many people make things muddled and confused. But the reality is when Americans really learn in a head-to-head race more about the truth of Donald Trump's record as a business person, those bankruptcies, those lawsuits against him, those attempts around using eminent domain and other things in New Jersey. When people learn that, when people really learn how many jobs he sent to China, although he wants to make America great again, quote unquote, by bringing back, I guess, the jobs he sent, I think it's going to make them stop and think twice. And what I think this general election is really going to be about a lot is people stopping and thinking twice about whether this man can be trusted to lead the greatest country in the world. And I think this line of information and facts about him being put out there that really undercut the brand he has tried to recreate to run for president, I think it's going to cut him off at the knees.
But Ross, let me get a question to Ross here. It's not like Donald Trump hasn't been out there. It's not like he's this guy who's been in hiding for the last year. If anything, he's been out there all day, every day since last June. So how do you...
I mean, so generally, I agree with Christine, right? I think Trump has, I mean, the general election is just a different landscape. He could win the Republican primary by getting 35%, 40% of the vote in a primary in which 10% of America was voting. He needs to get a lot more votes than that to win the general election, and all of these arguments do seem like they should resonate with, you know, a large share of Americans. With that being said, there is a kind of brilliant shamelessness to Trump's response to all of these kind of criticisms, which is distilled in the line he had where he said, up until now, I've been selfish for myself. I'm paraphrasing, right? I've been selfish for myself, or I've been greedy for myself. Kayleigh knows this line, I'm sure. I've been greedy for myself, and now I'm going to be greedy for America.
And that's exactly
and that argument, I think, to some extent, does seem to with voters. They say, yeah, he's made a lot of money, and now he's going to do for America what he did for himself.
All right, guys, stand by. Again, there is still a